have two more questions for you. One, you can answer or not. You have your choice. At a pro level, especially men, we know that everyone's going on the hormone cycles.
Yes.
So many people never get off them, and they become obsessed, and they completely like changed in their brain, and they take certain decisions. What do you suggest to these people who can never go off cycle because it completely ruins their lives?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that
you want to talk about.
No, of course. Something that with hindsight, I'm in a lucky position. I don't have a nutrition sponsor at the moment, so I mean, I'm much more open about talking about this sort of thing. The problem in our industry, first of all, is there is a wall of silence around performance enhancement.
That's the problem. No one wants to break that wall.
And because we have that silence, we have it's extremely misleading to younger athletes that look up to older athletes, especially ones that claim that they're fully natural and they claim they're doing flexible dieting. Like, well, hang on a minute, what's the point of me even eating healthy? I can never get to your level because you're eating junk food and you're shredded. So it's so misleading. And also we have a position where people can't go to people for advice. It has to be a private conversation with a coach, and then they still never talk about it publicly. I think the issue with athletes staying on a hormonal cycle beyond their years is because
constantly
there's two reasons. One is because we attach the use of steroids to improve performance and aesthetics. So if you take those away, yes, things don't feel good for a while, but with some patience and with a bit of hard work, we can get back close to, maybe never that far, but close to where we were. So I think it depends on how the athlete has managed their use during their career as a bodybuilder.
And also their coaches, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's good at any level of your professional career to have a coach, a good coach.
Yeah, I mean, the most common thing I would hear from that type of bodybuilding client would be, right, I'm doing this show and it's a year away and this is how I'm going to run my cycle. And I'd be like, when are you going to have a break? Oh, well, I was going to like cruise for 3 months. And I'll be like, come on, tell me more. What do you mean by that? Because you read that on bodybuilding.com. This is something professional bodybuilders do. They're like, well, your TRT dose, all these terms that I hear. And I'm just saying, look, you take any exogenous testosterone, you're going to suppress your testosterone production, and that is always going to put you back and back and back. And so if you're justifying at this point taking like a TRT dose of testosterone because you want to feel good between cycles or whatever, you're going to be that guy that stays on cycle forever, because when you eventually come off, having been suppressed for like 2, 3, 4 years, you try and recover, it's probably not going to happen, and your doctor's going to say to you, I'm sorry, but your testicles aren't working. And then you're in a situation where you're forced to stay on. So I guess
these people have a chance? Do these people who've been taking it constantly out for years and they get to 35, 40, completely finishing the career, they are pretty much finished. Their testicles do not produce any testosterone anymore, and they're going to be forced to stay for the rest of their life on testosterone. So what are the downsides of this? Because this is not good at all.
Well, the downside is that no matter how much testosterone you take, if you have got suppressed testicular function, no matter how much testosterone you can take, you still won't be fertile. And there's a difference between having testicular function from a testosterone point of view and having fertility. So then we're going to have this whole generation of men that need fertility treatment in order to conceive. Okay,
I'm so grateful. I'm so happy I can hear this from you now, and so many other people will hear, because I had this conversation so many times with bodybuilders, guys, and they just don't want to accept it.
No, it's a bit like brush that under the carpet, because I don't have to worry about that now. So if you're 25, it seems like it's 5-10 years away. If you're 35, it's 5-10 years away, whatever. But at some point, it comes back to bite you. And we are talking about two scenarios here. One scenario is someone that has got an issue with their testicular function because they may have suppressed it, so they have to go onto a TRT. That's hopefully something that a doctor would prescribe. And then you're kind of in the medical system then, and it's a bit more legit because you have no choice. But the more common scenario that you're talking about is the bodybuilder who is either retired or not retired and stays on cycle forever. Because, and we're now talking about these root issues of like identity and ego, because they know that they will shrink if they go off cycle, or they know that they won't be able to keep their body fat low. And so we're holding on to this image and this identity way beyond where we should be, because by this point we should have started thinking about business, life, family, but we can't let go. And it's just like, it's such a human trait. And yeah, it's gonna cause issues, I think. And I always encourage my clients that are following that path to do these things carefully, to get blood tests, to do things in cycles, because these clients have made up their minds up anyway. So if they're going to do this thing, there's no way I'm going to talk them out of it. I've talked many clients out of, you know, big, heavy cycles and made them do like more sensible, safe cycles. And there is no fully safe use of performance enhancements. You can certainly mitigate damage by having someone advise you on it. And most of the time people don't want to listen, but usually you can twist their arm. Have to scare them first.
True, that's so true. Oh, this is great, James, and thank you for answering me this question. And the last question I have for you for today is, what is your routine now? How do you train now? What do you do to stay in shape, this amazing shape you have now? What do you use for your skin that looks so good, much better than I saw you last year or so? So just tell me everything what you're doing now.
Well,
Give us some tips.
I think the thing that's first of all, I think being self-employed and being a personal trainer for so many years has helped me be healthy and help with my skin and my like youthful appearance. So I'm complimented on, and I always appreciate that. Nothing beats being told that you look young. It's better than being told you have a good body, because you know you can always get a
You
good body.
definitely look younger than last year or 2 years ago. I promise you.
Thank you. And it's nice because, you know, as you know, like the beauty industry makes a lot of money on the fact that people will pay anything to look young, and actually almost can't really do it. But actually you can get in shape if you want, but you still maybe you won't look young. So I think I never really had that long off my diet. So all the time when I was training, 15, 20 years, there was never really a phase where I went off the plan for that long. You know, I had like a cheat weekend, I'd go on holiday for a week. I always would get back on it. I've not had any real phase, probably because I've never been injured, not seriously. So I've never had an excuse to go off my healthy, clean eating. Most recently, the thing that's helped me enjoy training is my kind of new hobby where I ride my bike a lot.
I know, I heard about that.
Yeah, I've been actually doing it for about 1.5 years now. I've kind of been doing, so basically my week is split between, I do about 3 or 4 hours on the bike.
Every day?
That's probably every other day. I'll do like 1.5 to 2 hours, and I'll do about maybe 3 hours of bodybuilding. So I'm hardly doing bodybuilding compared to how I used to. And I do bodybuilding. So my cycling is for enjoyment and for fitness, and my bodybuilding is for aesthetics. My bodybuilding at the moment isn't really because I enjoy doing it.
Gracefully combine them both to create this fantastic harmony that I see in your body right now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and being outside on the bike just makes me feel amazing. It's given me like a new lease of life. The kind of rush I used to get from getting onto the dumbbell rack and pushing reps and getting PRs in the squat rack, this is now replaced and even superseded by riding around on my bike at high speed, because there's a big adrenaline rush from riding a bike at 30 miles an hour. And I've also found that riding my bike fast or competitively is way more painful ever than any kind of bodybuilding I did. The lactate that you get in your legs and the burn you get in your lungs when you're doing like VO2 max sprints is way more uncomfortable. So my respect for these kind of endurance athletes that I never had before has now gone way up. And I look at bodybuilders and I'm like, you think you're in pain? You should try riding a bike uphill. So
maybe a triathlon soon.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a couple of like sort of big rides they call sportives, which are like they're almost races, but they don't have a podium. They don't want like average Joe to sort of hurt themselves, and bike racing can be really dangerous. But yeah, that's been my thing. So it's now I do a lot more cardio basically, and my weight training is there to keep me looking. Because basically, if I didn't do weight training, after a while my body would shrink a little bit further. Like I'm still relatively muscular. And that's just because I'm maintaining my muscle by doing, I tend to do full body workouts like Metcons and CrossFit WODs, and maybe a little bit of body part training. But that's pretty much just to keep me full, because talking about the body dysmorphia thing, I will always aspire to have a certain shape. And if my shape went too far away from this, it would bother me a lot and I would have to dig it back out again.
Yeah, I'm sure you know exactly what to do to stay in a good shape and a very good condition all the time. So this
Thank
is
you.
great.
Yeah.
Well, I hope people will be able to take a lot from what we talked today, especially those who are thinking to compete, competitors, pros, and all the other people who are watching. And you're always so motivational. I hope I can have a session with you soon.
Yeah, no, definitely. Let's do it. I always enjoy training with you because you're one of the only female trainees I train with that really kicks my ass each time.
I'm not that good anymore. I'm getting old now, but let's see what we can do. And I hope I'll have you in another episode soon. If
Yeah,
you're happy to, I really appreciate. Thank you so much, James.
yeah, awesome. And thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you all for watching ProBody Talks. We will be bringing you more guests in my upcoming episodes. Great inspirational human beings, so stay tuned. We have a lot of valuable information that I hope will inspire you all. In the meantime, you can support us by subscribing to my Patreon account. Thank you and goodbye, everyone.